This hour is presented by Affordable Kitchens and Baths. Visit them today at affordablekitchensandbaths.net.
8:39 here on the Big 550 KTRS. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching KTRS TV, you're going to see a well-shaven David Stokes. So, David Stokes, nice to see you care about the TV audience as well as the radio audience. Nice, clean shaven this morning.
I care about all your listeners and all your watchers, McGraw.
There you go, right here on the Big 550.
It's going to be a new thing, the Monday morning shave.
The Monday morning shave gets you up and out of bed, ready to go. David Stokes, policy analyst with the Show Me Institute. Good morning, David Stokes.
Good morning, McGraw.
Let's talk about property assessment. Always rife with controversy when you're talking about St. Louis County and assessment of your property tax. What's the topic today?
Well, the topic today is a friendly reminder that this is not the time to ignore your mail from the government. If you're getting a letter from the county, you should probably open it and read it. There's a good chance that it's about the assessment of your house or your property here. And it happens every 2 years. It happens in every county of the state. It's been more controversial for a variety of reasons in St. Louis County over the past decade. But it happens at the same time, same place, and it's something to pay attention to.
And one of the things is that property values have gone down over the last 2 years. So our rate, our property assessment should go down, right?
The average homeowner in the county will probably see an assessment go down.
Right.
And all the taxing districts within the county have the right to raise their rates to a revenue neutral level when that happens.
Right.
So what you'll likely see is for the average person to see the taxes paid in the end will remain flat. Now, there's all sorts of property tax districts that have gotten voter approval over the past year to raise their rates, such as the county library district.
Right.
So that will result for most people in a slight increase.
Man who follows tax policy very closely, I do not. But it's been my opinion that how we assess homes and how we tax our property has got to be the single worst way known to man.
Well, in defense of the assessors.
Hold on a second. In defense of the assessors by somebody from the Show Me Institute. All right, go ahead.
In defense of the assessors, we've, for a long time in Missouri, had a tax system where local taxes are primarily based on reassessing your houses.
Right.
And when they do it right, with comparable sales as the dominant factor, it's pretty accurate. And historically, it's been frustratingly accurate for people because, everybody wants their house to be as valuable as possible, but nobody then wants it accurately assessed to reflect as such.
Right.
And this was between 2000 and 2007 when property values, particularly in the urban areas, were going up so rapidly. This was a big issue for a lot of people. And sometimes it's overassessed. It's not always right. Like we talk about the average. The average one will go down and then your taxes will remain flat. Well, if your house happens to go up a little bit, then when you combine that with the average tax rate being raised because most houses went down, you can see quite a bump in your taxes. And that's why people really need to pay attention to the mail, because if they're going up a certain percentage, they should get some notification and they should go online to check it out.
No, I understand that, but I mean, you put in a new bathroom, but you don't tell the county because you don't want to take out the permits because that'll mean they'll raise your taxes. You want to put on a new deck, you want to put on a new kitchen, you want to redo your basement. I mean, all of these things you hide. You find people hiding from the government because they don't want to know that you improved your house, which means your house is worth more.
You're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons why the Show Me Institute has long talked about moving a little more in taking some baby steps towards more land value taxation, like making sure that the value of your land is properly assessed and becomes a larger part of the total assessment, reducing the percent of your property that might be in your house and increasing the part that might be in your land, because the land doesn't change really.
Right.
You don't really improve your land. That's one of the reasons economists like land taxation is it is so consistent and easier to get right, and there's no way people can avoid the permit in that. But we've got an op-ed at showmeinstitute.org that talks about how in St. Louis City, they're very inconsistent with the land taxation. You'll have some parcels in the Central West End that are valued at zero. The land is flat valued at zero. And for many other parcels, it's properly valued at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or more. So that type of inconsistency is always a problem.
It's really interesting, too, the whole philosophy of when you say taxing land. Land, if you tax a city resident, you could tax him out of the city, right? In other words, the person in the city could say, that's it, I'm done paying all these extra taxes, I'm moving. But if you taxed his land, well, the person can move, but the land stays right where it is. You can't, the land can't move out of the city of St. Louis.
Well, that is one of the reasons why land taxation is one of the most widely agreed upon methods of taxation from economists, because it's not movable, it's hard to change, it doesn't generally affect your behavior or your decisions all that much, and it's very popular among economists. And because it's popular among economists, that's probably why we have so little of it, because it doesn't play well with politicians and even voters.
Talk about the assessment of farmland, because this is always interesting to me.
Well, I don't think Missourians realize just how dramatically low the assessment of farmland is in our state. I think a lot of us would agree that farmland, large farms, large acreage with crops, shouldn't be assessed as much as a commercial office building in Clayton. But it is dramatically lower. And the example I'll give is there's one parcel in Chesterfield, which is 56 acres of land out near the Missouri River. And the total tax bill last year for this parcel of 56 acres was $87. And that's not $87 per acre. That's $87 for 56 acres of land, just over $1 an acre.
In Chesterfield.
In Chesterfield.
Right.
I've got a friend who lives not too far from this 56 acre place. He's got 4 acres and a house on it, a nice house, but not a mansion.
Right.
And he's paying $7,400 for the house and 4 acres. I mean, the difference is just enormous. And that becomes important out in rural Missouri, where school districts and the like have trouble raising the money necessary because the assessed valuation is so low. Inevitably, when you equalize this, you have to take sales and income taxes from St. Louis County, from Kansas City, and transfer it to the rural areas because of that.
So you're suggesting that farmland should be assessed higher?
I am. And every couple of years, the State Tax Commission comes out with a new proposal of farmland assessment, because they're the one tasked with setting the rates for farmland. And they've consistently been trying to raise it, which is doing nothing more than setting it to a more accurate market value. That's all the State Tax Commission is doing. And they have not been able to move forward with that in the legislature.
Chances are you're not very popular in rural Missouri when you say something like that.
Right. I think I'm popular in rural Missouri for a lot of
reasons.
For a lot of small government reasons. A lot of people who believe in limited government out there. But yeah, the issue of the underassessment of farmland, and you can read in detail about this at showmeinstitute.org, where I've got some op-eds up on it. The underassessment of farmland is really an issue. I mean, it is so low compared to what people realize, compared to what the average person pays for a commercial or residential development.
Well, it sounds nice, but I don't know too many of those people who are bucking for their Profiles in Courage Award down in Jefferson City are going to stand up and say, hey, you know what, we need to raise the assessed value of farmland anytime soon.
Well, it is politically very, very difficult, and it's easy to understand why. But I would like to see some people get behind what the State Tax Commission has done and say, look, this is nothing more than making the market value more accurate. We're supposed to set our real estate valuations in Missouri based on market value. And so backing the State Tax Commission when they simply try to do that, I'd like to see some people take that courageous move.
Are you in favor of, what do they call that, where they allow seniors some type of benefit to stay in their homes, giving them some type of property tax relief?
I'm in favor of that for seniors in need.
Okay.
Certainly not for all seniors.
Gotcha.
But if I think there's some strong evidence out there that if people are able to stay in their homes, they're happier, more productive. It's good for them. So at some level, for needy seniors, some type of property tax break, I think, is appropriate.
David Stokes, how do we get a hold of you at the Show Me Institute?
You can read about these writings and a lot more at showmeinstitute.org. You can follow me on Twitter at David C. Stokes.
And because of KTRS TV, we can see how clean-shaven you are every Monday morning.
Absolutely. Now, I still have, I keep the facial hair. I'm just going to try and trim it more nicely going forward.
Trimmed up a little nicer. Yeah. You could wear a tie every once in a while, too,
I'll think about that, McGraw. Right after you do.
I got to talk to Rex about that. David Stokes with us, good friend of the show here every Monday. 8:50, traffic and weather. We'll talk with Mike Kelly, voice of the Tigers, next on KTRS.